This video clip aims at presenting you the flying process and its aspects during winter weather conditions. In the following 4 minutes, you're about to experience the winter in the air and on the ground. In the first part of this clip, you will get introduced to the technical preparation steps for our flight. Afterwards, during the second part, you will get invited to join us in the airplane cabin and observe the impact of the air traffic disruptions on the passengers and their expectations for the flight. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready, because we're taking off.
Flying in winter conditions is a complex process, and it has to keep account of much specificity. The whole process is complicated and depends on the mutual cooperation between the pilots and the airport employees. We will now follow the steps to prepare for a flight in winter conditions. An interesting fact is that when we hear winter conditions, we focus more on the preparations at the airport, whether the runway is clean from snow and flights take off and land according to schedule. However, as it turns out, there are several procedures to get the airplane ready to operate under extreme weather conditions. Flight planning during winter months will require special knowledge in order to protect the aircraft as well as the pilot. Extra precautions should be used. The importance of a pre-flight inspection is great in temperature extremes. It is natural to hurry over the pre-flight of the aircraft and equipment, especially when the aircraft is outside in the cold. However, this is the time one should do the best pre-flight inspection possible. Starting the engine of the aircraft is also challenging. Sometimes even preheating of the engine is required to melt any ice on it. Also, if an aircraft is parked in an area of blowing snow, special attention should be given to the openings in the aircraft where snow can enter and freeze solid. These openings should be free of snow and ice before flight. In the process of landing, the landing surface can also pose dangers. Advanced information about the current conditions of the runway should be obtained. If it's not available, the pilot should take the time to circle the field before landing to look for drifts or any other obstacles. Tracks and the snow on the runway do not ensure safe landing conditions.
Key European transport hubs are usually getting affected by the winter weather in Europe. Let me remind you of December 2010 and the constant air traffic disruptions which stranded thousands of passengers all around the world. In the United Kingdom, Heathrow was the worst hit airport. The situation in Germany wasn't much different. Airports like Frankfurt and Munich cancelled all their flights. In France, the two main airports, Charles de Gaulle and Orly, were after 4 days of cancellations later reopened. In the Netherlands, Schiphol was as well affected as a knock-on from other European air traffic disruptions. The Netherlands. This was the starting point of the passengers that we have interviewed prior to their flights in December and were strongly affected by these disruptions. Let us now hear and see their stories and understand how challenging it is to get on the airplane on time and catch your flights.
Today is the 18th of December, and I hope, because of the snow, I will be flying from Bursa-Charleroi Airport back to Bulgaria.
I'm now having doubts whether the tram will come. I'm not sure if I'm going to arrive on time, despite the fact that the airport is not that far, but yeah, I will still wait a bit for the tram. It's very hard with this big luggage and this weather.
Alright, so this is me like 5 hours later in a train, and it was a whole adventure because we had to step off at every single stop that you could think of because every train got cancelled. So right now I'm finally in the train from Roosendaal to Brussels Central.
Okay, I'm now on Central Station, and I'm still waiting to see where shall I go for Eindhoven. Oh, it's so complicated. I'm wondering if I could get there. This is my train. I'm now in the train to Utrecht, and from Utrecht I need to go to Eindhoven. But as you can see, this is the harsh reality during winter time in Holland. Yeah. Okay, now, so it took me in total 6 hours to get to Eindhoven from The Hague. I'm still waiting for my flight to check in, but so far everything seems to be good.
So, very good early morning. I am now in the train shuttle going to Brussels Charleroi, and it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and I spent the whole night waiting for this bus, and now it's finally time to go to the airport.
I should still say that while we are young, we could definitely have that as an option and explore and have new adventures.
The winter time in Europe and the Netherlands was not a precedent. As it was to be seen, a lot of other travelers all across Europe were actually affected by the bad weather conditions on stations, traffic jams, and airports. We consider that major and drastic introductions of new infrastructure and logistical programs are to be made in order for the governments and private holders to overcome and fight against the unpredicted issues and weather problems in the future.